Hello, everyone. Welcome to the English Echo. We're very happy you're here today. Today, we're going to practice English together in a simple and relaxing way. I'm Sam.
And I'm Sophia.
We're happy you're here today.
Let's learn together.
To start things off, think about this. If you eat an extra hot, spicy chicken wing, your first instinct is probably to grab a giant glass of ice-cold water.
Oh, definitely. I think everyone does that.
Right. Well, today, we will explain why doing that is actually a terrible idea. We're also going to look at how a few simple, polite words can completely change your experience at an English-speaking restaurant.
That is such an exciting plan. We're focusing on food and eating today, which is something we all do every single day.
Yeah, it really is the perfect way to practice speaking.
Exactly. No matter where you are in the world, food is a universal language.
It is. I mean, when you meet someone new, you might not know what to talk about. The weather is, a little bit boring.
Yes, it usually is.
But asking someone about their favorite meal is a wonderful way to start a real conversation. Everyone has an opinion about what they love to eat.
That is very true. Food connects us. When you travel to a new place, the local dishes are usually the first things you want to experience.
Oh, absolutely.
So learning how to describe your meals and order confidently will help you in so many real-life situations.
Since food is something we experience every day, let's begin by sharing our personal favorites. It is always easy to talk about things that bring us joy.
I agree. What is your favorite food?
Well, I am a huge fan of Italian food. If I have to choose one thing, pizza is my absolute favorite.
Pizza is a very popular choice all over the world. There is something very comforting about it. What kind of pizza do you like the most?
I love it when the pizza is very warm, just fresh out of the oven. I always look for a crust that is crispy on the outside but soft on the inside.
That sounds perfect.
Right, and it needs to have a lot of bubbling cheese with some fresh green basil on top. The smell of fresh basil just makes my mouth water.
Wow, that paints a beautiful picture. It sounds incredibly delicious.
Thank you. What about you?
For me, my top choice is usually sushi. It gives me a completely different feeling than a warm slice of pizza.
Sushi is a very elegant food. It is so colorful and carefully made. Why does it stand out as your favorite?
I really appreciate how fresh it is. I mean, I love the combination of cold, fresh fish and perfectly cooked rice.
Yeah, it is a great combination.
And when I eat sushi, it feels very light and healthy. My stomach feels satisfied, but it does not make me feel too heavy or tired afterward.
That makes perfect sense. But, talking about food we love is the easy part. Here is where the language gets a little bit tricky.
Oh, how so?
Well, how do we talk about foods we actually dislike? We want to be honest, but we also want to be polite.
Ah, yes. This is one of the most important social skills for English learners to practice. It is crucial to know how to express your true feelings without hurting someone's feelings.
Exactly.
What is a food that you would rather not eat?
Well, let's take mushrooms, for example. I know many people love them in soups or on top of burgers.
They are very popular.
But for me, the texture is just very strange. They feel a little bit like rubber in my mouth. My instinct is to just say, I hate mushrooms, or I do not like mushrooms. Is that okay to say?
I hear many learners say exactly that. However, saying I don't like is very direct in English.
Too direct.
Yes. While it is honest, it can sound a little too strong. If someone spent an hour cooking a beautiful dinner for you, saying I don't like this can feel like a personal rejection.
I understand. I guess it sounds a bit harsh. Almost like a child refusing to eat their vegetables.
Exactly.
So if we want to avoid sounding rude, what is the best phrase to use instead?
We can fix this by adding just one small word. A much better and softer way to say it is, I don't really like.
Just adding really?
Yes. Adding the word really acts like a cushion. It absorbs the shock of the negative sentence.
That is a fascinating detail. So instead of the strong statement, I don't like mushrooms, I just say, I don't really like mushrooms.
Right. You got it.
It sounds much more apologetic and kind.
It does. It shows that you appreciate the food, but it just is not your personal preference. Let me give you another everyday example.
Please do.
I love sushi, but I cannot handle spicy food. Sometimes restaurants put too much wasabi in their sushi rolls.
Oh yes, wasabi is that bright green paste. It is incredibly strong and can really catch you by surprise.
It certainly can. When I eat too much wasabi, it makes my nose burn and my eyes water.
Not a fun feeling.
No, it isn't.
Yeah.
So if a friend offers me a very spicy piece of sushi, I can smile and politely say, "Thank you so much, but I don't really like spicy food." It is clear, but still very friendly.
That is a perfect phrase for you to practice next time you are offered something strange. Now, Our food choices are not just about what we like or dislike.
That's true.
They're also closely connected to our daily routines and our physical energy.
That is a wonderful connection to make. The time of day completely changes what our bodies need.
Right.
Breakfast is perhaps the most obvious example of this changing routine.
Think about a typical weekday morning. The alarm clock rings early, and most people are in a big rush.
Yes, everyone is hurrying.
They have to shower, get dressed, and run to catch a train or drive to work. They really do not have time for a slow, peaceful meal.
In those rushed moments, people usually look for simple energy. A very common routine is eating quick eggs and toast.
And drinking coffee, I imagine.
Oh, definitely. Usually a large, strong cup of black coffee. They need that caffeine to wake up their brain.
But even in a rush, people have different habits. Like if you do not have time to cook eggs, you might grab a quick piece of fruit, like a banana or a crisp apple.
That is a very healthy choice.
Yeah, you can eat it while you are walking. It is fast, natural, and gives you quick energy.
Then, a few hours later, lunchtime brings a completely different choice. This is where you have to balance your energy for the rest of the day.
How do you usually do that?
Well, sometimes I prefer a very light lunch at exactly 12 o'clock, like a fresh green salad or a small sandwich.
Why choose something so light? Why not have a big, warm meal in the middle of the day?
It is because of how the body digests food. If I eat a very heavy, hot meal with lots of meat and potatoes, my body works hard to process it.
Oh, and that makes you tired.
Exactly. That makes me feel very sleepy in the afternoon. Since I need to sit at a desk and focus on my work, a light salad helps me stay awake and alert.
That is a very smart strategy for office workers.
It really helps.
On the other hand, if you have a job where you're moving around all day, maybe working outside or carrying heavy things, a salad is not enough.
No, definitely not.
You might actually need a massive plate of rice, black beans, and grilled chicken just to survive until dinner.
Exactly. You listen to what your body needs based on your routine. This also explains the huge difference between cooking a meal at home and going out to a restaurant.
Right, because when you've had one of those long, exhausting days moving around, you usually do not have the energy to cook.
That is very true.
But on a slow Sunday, staying home and cooking can be incredibly relaxing. There is no stress.
Sunday cooking is a beautiful ritual. You have all the time in the world. What is your favorite thing to prepare on a quiet Sunday afternoon?
I love making a big pot of pasta with a rich tomato sauce.
That sounds lovely.
It is. I can let the sauce cook slowly on the stove for hours. The whole house smells amazing. It is very cheap to make, and it feels like a warm hug.
That sounds incredibly cozy. But by the time Friday night arrives, the feeling is completely different.
Oh, for sure.
The work week is over, and people want to celebrate.
Yes, Friday is the perfect time to leave the house. You want to meet your colleagues, maybe grab a quick, greasy burger and salty French fries at a fast food place.
It's a very popular Friday choice.
Or even better, you want to sit down at a nice restaurant.
Sitting down at a nice restaurant is about so much more than just the ingredients on the plate. It is an entire experience.
Right, you are paying for the atmosphere.
Exactly. You are paying for the soft lighting, the gentle background music, and the comfort of not having to wash any dishes afterward.
The atmosphere is wonderful.
Yeah.
But stepping into an English-speaking restaurant brings up a whole new challenge for learners.
Yes, it can be a little intimidating.
Knowing how to speak to the waiter can feel a little bit scary. I have a habit that might be wrong.
Oh. What do you usually say?
When I look at a menu, I usually just point at the picture and say, I want a chicken sandwich. Is that acceptable?
It is very common because it is a direct translation from many other languages. But in English culture, social distance and politeness are very important.
So I want is not polite enough.
Right. Saying I want sounds a bit like a demanding boss giving an order to an employee. It lacks respect for the person helping you.
That makes a lot of sense when you explain the cultural background. We definitely do not want to sound like a bossy child demanding a toy.
Exactly.
So if I want is too direct, what are the professional phrases we should use instead?
There are two beautiful, polite phrases that act as a cushion, just like the word really did earlier. The first one is, I would like.
I would like.
Yes. For example, looking up at the waiter and saying, I would like the chicken sandwich, please.
I would like. It sounds very smooth and respectful. The word would really softens the sentence. What is the second option?
The second excellent phrase is, can I have? This frames your order as a polite question rather than a demand.
Oh, that's a nice way to think about it.
Yes. For instance, you could say, can I have a glass of sparkling water, please?
Those are excellent tools. I would like and can I have? Let's practice making a custom order because sometimes we want to change the ingredients.
That happens all the time.
So if I order that chicken sandwich, but I am trying to be healthy and avoid extra fat, how do I ask them to remove the mayonnaise?
You can simply add the change to the end of your polite phrase. You can say, I would like the chicken sandwich without mayonnaise.
Okay, that is clear and polite.
It is. You can also use the friendly short version and say, no mayo.
No mayo. That
Yeah.
sounds very natural. And what if the sandwich normally comes with a giant pile of French fries, but I want to continue being healthy?
You want vegetables instead.
Right. How do I ask for some vegetables instead?
You can combine everything we just learned. You can say, can I have the chicken sandwich with no mayo and a side salad instead of fries, please?
Side salad.
Yes, a side salad is just a small bowl of greens that sits next to your main dish.
That is a perfect sentence. A side salad instead of fries. Now you sound confident and polite.
Absolutely.
So the order is placed, and finally, the waiter brings the food to the table. This is the moment we need adjectives to describe what we are experiencing.
Describing food is a wonderful way to expand your vocabulary. It is all about the senses, how it tastes, how it smells, and how it feels in your mouth.
Let's start with the best possible feeling.
Okay.
If you take a bite of your food and it is absolutely perfect, what is the best word to share that feeling?
The classic word is delicious. If you take a bite of your favorite warm pizza and the flavors explode in your mouth, you can smile and say, wow, this pizza is delicious.
It is a great word, but we use different words for different types of food, right?
Yes, we do.
Like if we are having dessert, like a rich slice of chocolate cake or fresh strawberries, delicious works. But there is something more specific.
Yes, for things with natural or added sugar, we often say they are sweet and tasty. Sweet describes the sugar, and tasty simply means it has a very pleasant, strong flavor.
We also have to describe the temperature. If it is a hot summer day and I order a glass of lemonade, I definitely want it to be nice and cold.
Nice and cold is incredibly refreshing, but you must be careful with the opposite temperature, especially with liquids.
Oh, for sure.
If a waiter brings a bowl of fresh soup, it might be boiling. You might need to warn your friend by saying, be careful, this is very hot.
I have ignored that warning before and burned the roof of my mouth. It ruins the whole meal.
It really does.
But temperature is not the only problem. Sometimes, the chef makes a mistake in the kitchen. What if they put way too much salt in the sauce?
If the flavor is overwhelmingly salty, we use the phrase too salty.
Just too salty.
Yes. When a dish is too salty, it is almost impossible to finish, and it leaves you desperately needing to drink a huge glass of water.
I know exactly what you mean. The salt just dries out your mouth. But what about the complete opposite problem? Imagine a chef who is afraid of spices.
Okay, I am imagining it.
You eat the food, and it just tastes like nothing.
We have a very specific, helpful word for that situation. The word is bland.
Bland.
Yes. Imagine eating a bowl of plain white rice that was boiled in unseasoned water. No salt, no butter, no sauce. You take a bite and say, this rice is very bland.
Bland. That is a highly descriptive word. You usually have to ask for the salt and pepper shakers to fix a bland meal.
Yes, you definitely need to add something to it.
Now, speaking of descriptive words, I want to bring up a major translation mistake I hear often.
Oh, which one?
When people sit down at a table, they often translate their feelings directly from their native language. They look at the menu and say, I have hunger.
I am so glad you brought this up. This is one of the most frequent hurdles for English learners.
Why is it so common?
Well, in many beautiful languages around the world, you use the verb to have to describe your physical feelings. You possess the hunger. But English views this entirely differently.
Can you explain the linguistic reason behind that? Why doesn't English use the verb to have for hunger?
In English, hunger is not considered an object that you carry in your hands. It is a state of being.
A state of being.
Yes. Therefore, English relies on the verb to be. Think about how you describe your age. You do not say, I have 20 years. You say, I am 20 years old.
Oh, that makes perfect sense.
It is the exact same rule for physical feelings.
That is a brilliant way to explain it. You exist in a state of hunger, therefore you must say, I am hungry.
Exactly. It is a small change in grammar, but it makes your English sound incredibly natural.
It really does.
And just like there are different types of food, there are different levels of being hungry.
Oh, like when it is late in the afternoon.
Yes. Sometimes you do not want a heavy meal, but your stomach is just starting to wake up. You might just want a cup of hot tea and a small biscuit.
I get that exact feeling around 4 o'clock every afternoon. I am not starving, but I need something small. How do we describe that specific level of hunger?
There's a wonderful, slightly playful word for this. You can say, I'm a little peckish.
Peckish.
Yes. It comes from the idea of a bird pecking at small seeds. It just means you want a tiny bite of food to keep you going.
I'm a little peckish. I love the imagery of a bird having a snack.
It is very descriptive.
And then at the very end of a massive dinner, when your stomach is completely stretched and you could not possibly eat another bite, what is the polite phrase?
When you are completely satisfied, you lean back in your chair and say, I'm full.
I'm full.
Yes. It is a polite, clear way to tell the host or the waiter that you do not need any more food.
Those are fantastic ways to describe our food needs. But what about when we need a drink?
That is a different feeling.
Right. If I've been walking outside in the hot sun all day, I shouldn't say I am hungry for water, all right?
No, English separates food and liquids completely. For liquids, the standard phrase is, I'm thirsty. It simply means your body requires a drink.
But what if the situation is extreme? Let's say you have been hiking in the desert for hours. Your mouth feels like dry sand. Thirsty does not feel strong enough for that situation.
For that extreme feeling, you can use the word parched.
Parched.
Yes. If you say, I'm parched, it paints a picture of dry, cracked earth. It means you need water immediately, and it is a very advanced, descriptive word to use.
I'm parched. That conveys a lot of urgency.
It certainly does.
You know, even when you master all of these perfect phrases like, I would like, I am hungry, or this is delicious, going out to eat can still throw you some major surprises.
That is the adventure of dining out. You can control your language, but you cannot always control the restaurant.
Very true.
I believe we both know some stories about unexpected dining surprises.
Oh, absolutely. I recently heard a story about a person who saved up a lot of money to visit a very famous, incredibly fancy restaurant for a birthday celebration.
Oh, those places can be wonderful.
They can be. They dressed up in nice clothes and expected a magical evening.
Fancy restaurants are famous for their beautiful presentation, but they can definitely be tricky for your stomach. What happened to this person?
Well, they looked at the very expensive menu and ordered an appetizer to start the meal. They imagined a beautiful, satisfying plate of food.
And what did they get?
When the waiter proudly carried the dish to the table, it was a massive, empty white plate. And right in the very center was one microscopic, tiny square of fish.
Oh, dear. That is a classic surprise in fine dining.
It is.
The chefs focus so much on making the food look like a piece of modern art, but the actual portion of food is painfully small.
Yes, exactly. The person ate the entire appetizer in one single bite.
Oh, no.
They sat there pretending to be happy, but their stomach was completely empty.
I can imagine.
In fact, they were still so hungry when they finally left the fancy restaurant that they had to stop at a cheap cafe on the way home just to buy a massive bowl of pasta. They just needed to feel full.
That is a hilarious situation. The atmosphere was beautiful, but it completely failed to satisfy their hunger.
Yes, they were more than a little peckish.
They walked out still starving. They paid a fortune just to leave hungry.
I also know a story about a very different kind of restaurant surprise. This one is about the famous Spicy Food Challenge.
Oh, those challenges are everywhere now. People go to specialized restaurants to see if they are brave enough to survive eating incredibly hot peppers. It is like a sport.
It really is. So this person sat down and ordered the extra hot chicken wings. They took a confident bite.
How'd it go?
For the first few seconds, they smiled and thought, this is not so bad. I can handle this.
But that changed.
Oh, yes. The heat started to grow. 10 seconds later, they were sweating, their face turned bright red, and they were in actual physical pain.
That is how spicy food sneaks up on you. It is a slow building fire in your mouth.
If I am ever in that situation, my immediate strategy would be to grab the biggest glass of ice-cold water I can find and drink it as fast as possible. That puts out a fire, right?
Yeah. Actually, that brings us back to our very first point today.
It does.
Yes. Drinking cold water is actually a terrible idea. It is one of the biggest mistakes you can make when eating spicy food.
Wait, really? I always assumed cold water was the ultimate cure for a burning mouth.
Most people think that.
If water doesn't put out the fire, why is it so bad?
It comes down to simple science. The spicy heat in peppers comes from a special type of natural oil.
Okay.
As we know, oil and water do not mix. If you drink a glass of water, it does not wash the oil away. It just pushes the spicy oil around to every corner of your mouth, making the burning sensation much worse.
Wow, so drinking water actually spreads the fire. That is an incredible detail to know.
It is very important.
So if water is the enemy, what is the actual solution to survive a spicy challenge?
To calm the burning, you need something that can break down or absorb that hot oil. The best solution is to drink a glass of milk.
Milk.
Yes, the fats in the milk wash the oil away. If you do not have milk, eating a thick piece of plain bread works too.
Oh, plain bread.
Exactly. The bread acts like a dry sponge, soaking up the spicy oil from your tongue.
Milk or plain bread. They act like a sponge. That is a brilliant survival tip for anyone traveling to regions famous for their spicy curries or hot peppers.
It really is.
Always check the table for bread, or order a glass of milk before you take that first brave bite.
It will definitely save you from a lot of pain.
Well, we have covered a wonderful variety of topics today.
We certainly have. We explored the polite way to soften our dislikes using really, how our body's energy dictates our daily routines, and the cultural importance of ordering with I would like instead of I want.
We also built a great list of descriptive adjectives, from sweet and cold to salty and bland, and we finally solved the mystery of why English speakers say I am hungry instead of I have hunger.
It was a very productive session. Before we say goodbye, we want to leave you with a small imaginative task to practice on your own today.
Yes, applying what you learn is the best way to remember it.
Take a moment to picture a famous traditional dish from your own local area. Imagine you are sitting comfortably in a cafe right now.
How would you confidently order that dish using the polite phrase, I would like?
And once that imaginary food arrives, how would you describe the flavors to a friend sitting across from you?
Would you call it sweet and tasty, wonderfully delicious, or perhaps a little too spicy?
Try to build a full sentence in your mind.
Visualizing these situations will make the words flow naturally the next time you step into a real restaurant. Thank you for listening to The English Echo.
Keep practicing English every day.
Small steps can make a big difference.
See you in the next episode.